Welcome to another edition of Arizona Wildcats Insiders Podcast. I'm your host, Troy Hutchison, and we are finally here at game week after the bye week. Arizona football is not in the AP poll, not in the top 25, not in the coaches poll, not in that top 25. Should they be? Not yet, but they should be getting some votes. We saw a wild week in the Big 12 with Texas Tech absolutely dismantling Utah. What is a Ute? I mean, it was like my cousin Vinny. What is a Ute? They absolutely dismantled them, destroyed the Utes on the road in Utah. Very impressive win for Texas Tech. Baylor made it a close game against ASU, but the Sun Devils were able to pull it out at the end. TCU did a very good job against SMU. They were able to take care of business there. Kansas rolled West Virginia. To me, Kansas looks like one of the better teams in the Big 12. Highly impressed with their offense and with their offensive performance. Iowa State, similarly to Arizona, was on its bye week as well. So the Cyclones saw the week off and they got to prepare and rest just like Arizona did. So that was important for them. It's been very interesting up and down in the Big 12. Houston's undefeated. I don't think anybody thought they would be there at this point in the season undefeated. Similarly to Arizona, to me, the race is wide open. BYU has looked solid, but again, they're dealing with a freshman quarterback, so who knows how that looks. TCU, to me, is very underrated. Arizona's lucky they don't have to play TCU. Hoover has looked very, very good in the Sonny Dykes system. That's going to be an interesting team to watch down the stretch as a contender for the Big 12 title. Oklahoma State, man, what can you say? To get crapped on by Tulsa. Man, it looks like the Gundy era is starting to come to an end. It looks like they're have their backs up against the wall. Very tough situation for for Oklahoma State as of right now. Again, Texas Tech looked amazing. Their starting quarterback went down. And yet the freshman walks in and just throws dime after dime after dime, making big play after big play. And they just looked fast. And, Utah looked a little slow. I thought defensively they got worn down over the course of the game because of what Texas Tech was able to do. And Texas Tech defense looks really good. But, again, Devin Dampier, everybody's like, man, Utah has a quarterback. Not so fast, my friend. He's a very good runner. But the passing, the accuracy, there's a lot of questions there. And just the rhythm and tempo of that Utah offense, there's a lot to be desired right then and there for Utah. Central Florida looks like they're on the up and up. Looks like they're building that program back up. And, Coach Scott Frost is doing a terrific job there. We'll see how that plays out throughout the course of the season. So we are in the prep week for Iowa State. Arizona will be hitting the road against the Cyclones with a 4 p.m. tip here locally on ESPN. We'll have more coverage of Arizona football as the weeks move along. But we are inching closer to the college basketball season. And even though Arizona football is on a good start, and even if Arizona is really damn good in football, we all know the heart and soul of Tucson, Arizona is on the basketball court. It's on the hardwood. It's been that way since the Fred Snowden era and grew massively in the Dick Tomey era. Dick Tomey era. Lute Olson era. Sorry, my mistake. But it grew massively in the Lute Olson era. And he was able to turn Arizona into a national power. And so now Arizona and Tucson and everybody here in the state, you can't wait for a college basketball season. So we're inching closer to that, and we got a chance to talk to players leading up to the season. Not one-on-ones, but, got to talk to them and see how they've been doing during the offseason and how they've been developing. And one of the guys we got to talk to that I want to talk about is Anthony Dell'Orso. Transferred in from Campbell. Looked solid in his first year at Arizona. Early on, Anthony struggled. He struggled in a sense that he was hesitant to shoot. A liability defensively at times, making him unplayable at certain points throughout the season. and just lack of confidence in his offensive game during the non-conference and a little bit midway through the Big 12 conference play. But we saw him progress. Tommy Lloyd talked about how he wanted to see him be more aggressive at times, and you saw that play out. And so when we talked to Dell'Orso, I thought it was very intriguing because he looks bulkier. He didn't test the NBA draft waters this offseason. He didn't think about transferring. He wanted to come in and work hard and get ready to go. He said the moment they lost to Duke, the next day he talked to Coach Rounds about the regiment they could get on and help him build up and bulk up and get ready for the next season. So they took a couple off days and then went straight to work. He talked about not having a lot of time since he is, an upperclassman and there's not a lot of college basketball left to be played for him. And him and Chris Rounds were able to add on 25 pounds to Dell'Orso's frame. 25 pounds. And you know what? You can see it. It's not a fat 25. It's a lean, mean fighting machine 25. He's got bulk. He's got muscle. And I think that's going to help him in Big 12 play. When you look at his major issue last season, not only was it aggressiveness, but he was pushed around and beat to a pulp at times in this conference. He couldn't handle the physicality. So now with the extra weight and his ability to get to the lane, because he's a very good ball handler, he has good passing skills, he has high basketball IQ, he's going to be a problem for Big 12 teams this season. And in terms of the aggressiveness, he talked about it during the press conference, saying how, now that guys like Caleb Love, Trey Townsend, Carter Bryant, you have other guys like Henry Vasar and KJ Lewis that have left the program as well. There's now more opportunity for him to take those shots. And again, we saw it later in the year, him be more aggressive on the court and him have his moments. But that needs to be the mindset from the get-go. And I think it's important for him to trust his shot because he's a very good three-point shooter. He's a very good scorer. And just shoot the ball. Don't worry about, the hesitation and running the offense. He's got to shoot the ball. And that's something that Coach Lloyd talked about during his availability a few months back. So it'll be interesting to see. He talked about how the freshmen, how he's impressed by their work ethic and their ability to adapt. You don't see a lot of freshmen adapt very quickly. It takes a whole off season, and it takes midway through the non-conference for most freshmen to really get settled in. But you're seeing guys like Koa Pete, Braden Burries, and others really start to develop and take ownership of their development. So that's what's really impressed him about the freshman class and what he wants to see this season from them. Now, what can the expectations be for Anthony Dell'Orso? I think he's going to start. I know that may shock a lot of U of A fans, but Tommy has proven time and time again that he will go, at least to start the year, with the veteran leadership, with the veteran guys on the roster. So I think if you're looking at it, Jaden Bradley will start. He's going to be the starting point guard all year. That's a given. Then I think it goes Braden Burries, because freshmen are going to start on this roster. Anthony Dell'Orso, Koa Pete, and Tobe Awaka. I think that's going to be your starting five to open up the year. Now, is that going to change throughout the course of the season? You betcha. I think that's a given. And you're going to see the rotation kind of dwindle down as we get closer to March. We're a long way away from there. But I think expectations for Dell'Orso would be to shoot around 50% again. We'll say 45% from the three-point line. And be a little bit more aggressive. Again, I don't have the numbers off the top of my hand right here. But I think if he could average anywhere from 8 to 10 points in that range for Arizona and be a steady offensive threat, just a threat. You don't have to be the go-to guy, but you could be one of those guys, the role players that hurt you. And I think if he does that, he's going to have a successful season, an amazing season. And if he does it off the bench, he probably win Big 12 Sixth Man of the Year. So I think we're setting up for a very good year for Dell'Orso, and I think he's one of those guys that's been overlooked on this Arizona roster, and understandably so. I get the frustration of the fan base, but he's a hard worker, and I think he's going to have his best season in college basketball. Now, has he put up bigger numbers at Campbell? Yeah, he's not going to average 20-plus points or 18-plus points or anything like that, but I think you're going to see a sound basketball player that's going to get better defensively. I don't think he's going to be great defensively or even good, but serviceable defensively. There's times last year you can play him because his defense was so bad in terms of the physicality of the game. I don't think you're going to have that issue this season. And I think he's going to work himself into getting a shot at the NBA in terms of being an undrafted guy. I think somebody's going to look at him as a three-point shooter, and if you can shoot the ball, you have a shot. So this is a big year for Dell'Orso, and I expect a lot out of him, but I think anywhere from 8 to 10 points a game is going to get him to where he wants to be and get this team, this Arizona team, to where they want to be, which is an Elite Eight or above. Well, to be honest, let's be honest. What they want is a national championship. Every team talks about that, championship aspirations, but at least an Elite Eight and above. And if Dell'Orso does that and the rest of the roster falls into place, you will be seeing Arizona in that Elite Eight game. We'll have more coverage of Arizona football as the week moves along and Iowa State gets closer for kickoff. And we'll have more coverage of college basketball because it's hoop season almost here in Tucson. So we got to cover that. So be sure to check us out, Arizona Wildcats on SI, at Arizona Wildcats on SI, or follow me, Troy Hutchison, at THutch1905, and we'll see you next time.